Hello and welcome back to another Nerf Blaster review video for the channel. My name is Luke Triton and today I'm going to be covering the Shockwave. This is a pump action cylinder fed blaster from the Elite 2.0 line, and this is supposed to be the successor to the Elite Surge Fire. That was a bit of a mouthful, I nearly got that wrong, but you know what, that will do. So this is one of 3 blasters that I have recently acquired. And it's interesting because it's Elite 2.0. This is supposed to be the combination of the Elite and Modulus lines. And whilst those are both gone, the Elite 2.0 line should have the best of both worlds, right? Performance, all the tactical potential, which is something I personally really enjoy. I love my attachments. But when this came out a year ago, it was not received too well. Now, in its own weird way, this was one of the worst received blasters that people had reviewed. I remember Drax's video. I think this was the blaster in particular where he said this is the first one he would send back. I've played around for it for a bit, and in a way I'm not too sure if I could agree with him, but then again we are 2 different people, I'm going to have different opinions. And of course he's a professional nerfer while I'm just a very casual nerfer, so I'm not going to try and compare myself to him. But ultimately it was interesting to kind of look back at other reviews and think, well, I can see what they mean in some areas, but other areas, yeah, not really. One more thing I will quickly point out, because this is Elite 2.0. Elite 2.0 blasters have been sealed shut. If you break your blaster, if you jam it or do something to it where you cannot repair it externally, you either have to throw it in the bin or buy a new one. Or you could break it open. It's technically possible, but break it open, you know, break is the key word. It's got solvent wells and clips to kind of force the thing shut. There are screws in here, but that's only half the job. It's not even half the job. Again, we've got screws, which is one thing, but the solvent welds and clips are way more dominant on these blasters. So, in your own, in its own way of saying, buy one of these at your own risk. But then again, wait until my personal opinion at the end as to whether I believe this is a blaster worth buying. So, as mentioned earlier, this is supposed to be the successor to the Elite Surge Fire. I believe it's called the Surge Fire. It wasn't a blaster I ever bought, so if I got the name wrong, I do apologise. But looking at it, it looks like a proper toy blaster. You know, like the old Tommy 20, 4-grip, big old cylinder with darts. It looks fun, you know? So pumping it is also quite different. Not a weird thing. I suppose this is actually one of the better grips, or pumps I should say, when it comes to a spring blaster. So priming it, that all happens at the back. I can just push this forward and that's completely weightless. Experiencing, or trying to remember back experiencing other spring blasters, you have to bring it all the way back and bring it forward for the full prime to be achieved. Everything is done once you bring it to the rear. So, let me quickly test something, because this is something I haven't done in my videos before, but now I can. I have a chrono barrel, so I can do a quick reading for the feet per second of the darts leaving the barrel. So a quick volume warning, because this is going to get loud. I mean, I'm very close to the camera, and you know, firing a Nerf blaster this close to the camera does increase the volume. So last warning, here we go. Making sure you can see this as well. 65. 60. 61.8, so just under 62. So it's in the 60s, okay. That's not too bad. I mean, it's not good enough either, because it is accepted that the Nerf par for darts firing at the blaster is 70 feet per second. And I don't have the boxes anymore, so I can't actually show this, damn it. But I think this was supposed to be advertised as at least 70 feet, 80, was it even 100? Did they push that far? I can't remember. Again, I don't have the boxes anymore, so I can't give you that much reliable details. But it was very much accepted that the details given on the box could not be achieved by the blasters, which is a bit of a shame, because, you know, that's false advertising. One other thing that is a shame, the Surge Fire, which is the predecessor to this blaster, has slam fire. This doesn't. A pump action blaster with a big old cylinder doesn't have slam fire. Huh? Are you mad? Are you for real? It's so trivial. Like, why wouldn't they add that in? Especially the blaster that this is succeeding has slam fire. Why doesn't this have slam fire? Ay, ay, ay. It's such a shame, because this all looks really cool and you could really get a fast action pump going when it comes to letting off all these rounds. But you just can't. I suppose you could modify it if you're brave enough, but as I mentioned earlier, with all the clips and the solvent wells that are keeping this blaster together, I wouldn't recommend doing so, which is, you know, again, just another real shame. I suppose that's probably some of the reasons as to why this blaster was sent back by a bunch of people, but so far I haven't found any reason not to kind of send this back or go against buying one of these. My favourite thing about this blaster, of course, is all of the tactical potential. We have a barrel attachment point, a stock attachment point, 2 rails up top, and 1 on the bottom. I don't know what's going to go down there. I think maybe 1 attachment could work, but at least the rail's there. I mean, that's actually really cool. Taking up some of the space more effectively by putting more rails on these blasters. Oh yes, I love that so much. Now then, there is another thing I would like to demonstrate, and just to quickly show off as well. So, pardon me. I think I did this with the previous video with the Commander. I'm not actually too sure on which order I'm going to get these videos out. So you can see that the barrel attachment point here, that's pretty cylindrical. It's straight in all dimensions. You know, it's flat along the top, it's flat along the sides. It's not warped in any way. Unlike my turbine, which is a bit of a problem. This is a barrel attachment point that came with the Elite 2.0 Echo, another blaster I'm doing a video review on. So this should fit perfectly, right? I mean, they're both Elite 2.0, they're both made by the same company, it's fully compatible. So that's not all the way on. I have to now push with a bit more force to get that on. I'm not exaggerating that, by the way, that's genuinely really stiff. And turning it takes a bit more effort than it should. Now, this is something I have tested previously. Putting it on, a bit of a struggle. Putting on a barrel full stop should take no more than a second. This took a while. In the time you got the barrel on to get some more attachments on, like a bipod for example, you're plinked, you're out of the game. Let's try and take this off. It's stupidly difficult. There we go. Struggle, pull, there we go. So that's now off. That might stay off forever because that's just a problem. I don't know if it's the barrel attachment point or if it's just this barrel. It's a bit weird because, again, with the Chrono barrel I've got here, that fits on perfectly fine. There's no issues there. So it could be this, but I haven't tested this with enough barrels, another blasters, that's the word I'm looking for, to confirm that theory. So yeah, that's kind of weird. I haven't really experienced that with anything else so far, but just that combination, it's really annoying. So yeah, overall, this is not a bad blaster, but would I recommend one? Brand new, these are about £27 or something like that. I don't know if anywhere is selling these blasters anywhere at a cheaper price. And with my preference, I prefer to have magazines in my blaster, and I especially prefer flywheelers as well. The only reason why I really got one of these is because of the attachment points. Again, I love the accessories you can put on your blaster. It reminds me of actually playing with a toy, which is what these are. So objectively, there's no reason not to get one of these, but if you're a younger Nerfer, or if you're a parent buying for your kids, don't touch anything that's Elite 2.0, because these could break around younger hands. Like, for example, if you got your kids playing with these, they could be a bit careless, you know. I'm not trying to be rude against anyone, but let's say they start jamming the pump grip, or they start rotating the cylinder to try and get more darts in. If something breaks, it's going to be a nightmare to fix, and then your kid starts crying because you can't fix his favourite toy, and it's 30 quid down the drain. You don't want to go through that. If you're an older Nerfer like me, I'm only 23 years old, but then again, I know how to handle a Nerf blaster. I still wouldn't recommend it. I cannot understand why people don't recommend it, but then again, there's nothing objectively bad with this blaster. There are just better options out there. So save your money and probably get yourself something else. The one key thing, just having reminded myself of this, when it comes to the 2.0 quality and potentially breaking the blasters. So I have fired off 3 darts. Yeah, there we go. So 3 darts there. I fired them off with the chrono test. If I'm going to have to refill this, this is what the cylinder sounds like where you go to rotate it to refill the darts. Ready? That sounds like I'm going to break it, but that's just how it is. Oh, I don't like that sound at all. It sounds so fragile. A lot of the parts that we used in the Elite 2.0 blasters as well were like metal springs, for example, being replaced with plastic ones. A lot of plastic components were being used, and you can tell that it's just an overall cheaper quality in comparison to what Nerf has released in the past. So yeah, that's everything I think I could really say for this blaster. Objectively, it's not a bad one, but there are way better options out there. And if you are a parent looking for a Nerf blaster for your kids, get something else. Go on eBay and get something else for like a $5. You can still get some good choices out there. So yeah, I don't want this video to be seen as me saying to you, yes, get this blaster, no, don't get this blaster. Freedom is freedom, you have your own choice, you have your own money. If you want to go against what I say and get one of these in the first place, then absolutely go ahead and do so. I just want to make this review video to kind of assist you in your purchase decision, because it is much wiser to look at what other people have said about these products before you go ahead and spend your hard-earned money. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.